we're not hearing you. I have restarted the record button. Can you hear us, Judge, if you could chat or anything?
And Sarah, your lips are moving and nobody can hear you. You're muted.
Yes, I am muted. It looks like Judge Meyer can hear us, but we can't hear her. She's unmuted. If we don't get action on these things today, we are not going to be able to apply for certain grants. So I'm really hoping we can make that happen. Is there a phone number you can call in on, Judge, on the meeting invite?
If she wants to walk over to my office, I got a chair in here. We can just sit together by Zoom or by Teams. That might work out as well.
Okay,
I just messaged her JA too, just to try to get some help back there for her.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I know every time I change systems, I lose functionality, it seems. And this is kind of a newer platform for us.
Yeah, I don't know if the state computers are all like equipped with all of it. Come on in.
Hey, you can share. Thought we could share a feed.
Yes.
Come on in. Mine isn't working.
Yep, we got you right here. So
Well,
they're
thank
ready.
you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for being late. I had a hearing and it was an interpreter and I kept saying to people, we have to hurry along,
Oh,
and that didn't happen.
thank you, Judge. Sorry to put you in a pressure crunch there, but you're here and we're ready.
It's all good. I'm so sorry I'm late. I will call to order the CJCC Executive and Operations Committee meeting. Sarah, will you call the roll?
Yep. We have Chair McAuliffe on the camera. We got Sheriff Biggt. We've got DHS Director Paula Winter. We've got our Vice Chair, Judge Meyer, Public Defender, Jonathan Lundeen. We've got County Manager, Chris Corpola. And I think that is our group today.
We have minutes from April 3rd. Are there any corrections to those minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Are there any public comments?
No public comments.
Consideration for actions to be taken by the committee, support for treatment alternatives and diversion programs. They're applying for another grant and they'd like our support for that grant, a letter of support.
Correct.
there-
So if you don't mind, Judge, to speak to this quickly, our TAD state grant is up for renewal. We have looking to renew $166,000 that supports our treatment opportunity program and pretrial services. So we're looking for support for that. And then secondarily, we have an opportunity for up to $100,000 for enhanced treatment court funding. This may be our a limited opportunity to seek additional funding for our treatment court if we so choose. Presently, it is 100% levy funded, and we do have a shoestring budget to provide services. So this TAD opportunity for up to $100,000 could be used in a variety of ways to support people in treatment, recovery, peer support, sober housing, certain basic needs that we just really are not able to fund. Certain folks or community partners aren't able to provide some of these supports to people. So we are considering and would like the the group's impressions on us pursuing not only our renewal for our 166,000, but also pursuit of 100,000.
Does anybody have anything they want to add?
Now, I would make a motion that the CJCC write a letter in support of the grant application.
Is there a second?
Absolutely.
Good. All those
Sorry,
in-
I don't want a letter of support because I have to have everybody sign it. I'm just looking for a motion of support for the application, and I can include our meeting minutes. So a little different
So-
this time around.
So moved minus, the letter.
And the appropriate second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed? And now, Sarah, support for continued DOJ grant funding for treatment in jail.
Okay, so these are the typical letters of support that we're looking for. Yeah, it was just a little different with that TAD grant, but for our treatment in jail grant, you may have read in the staff report, we do have an opportunity for a non-competitive grant for $100,000 from the state of Wisconsin to continue our treatment in jail program, but it does require some additional asks. One of them is a match. It would be a 25% match, but using federal calculations that equals $33,000 is what the match would be. So if we are interested in this grant, we've got to be able to have that match of $33,000. And we've got to be willing to pursue all three types of FDA approved medication assisted treatment and to explore the idea of having a dedicated treatment space in jail for participants of the program. So those are hefty asks of us, but I think it's certainly something that is realistic, feasible, with the support of this committee, but it would require that $33,000 match, which seems to fit under our county opioid settlement dollars. So that $33,000 wouldn't be in one lump sum. It would be kind of scattered across the quarters where it would be, a lesser amount. But this would continue our efforts with funding the staff for the program. And then we have a secondary grant that would continue to cover the medication of the treatment in jail program.
Are there any questions for Sarah? Any discussion?
I think it seems very reasonable, particularly if we can pull that out of the opioid funding. That's a great way to leverage some of that money. If you're looking for a motion to that effect, I will cheerfully make it.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Move that motion passes. Support for continued DOJ grant funding for law enforcement deflection and diversion. Sarah?
So this one's a little simpler. We are also looking at a non-competitive renewal for our law enforcement deflection diversion. So that covers the staff of the sheriff's office, the behavioral health officer, currently occupied by Becca Merrifield. They're offering us $140,000, and this could continue for 3 to 7 years. So, but no match requirement, no significant changes in the program required. Just really looking to continue this program at $140,000.
Are there any questions?
But this only, Sarah, we have to apply every year. It doesn't guarantee us funding for 3 to 7 years.
Correct. It just puts us in a 3 to 7 year cycle. And where it would be a non-competitive rate, we would still have to apply and show support. And the amount may be adjusted based on the spending of other sites. But at this point, it does look like the Department of Justice sees a path of multiple years of funding for these law enforcement deflection pilot sites, of which we are one of them.
No, sounds good. I would move to support.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes as well.
Aye.
Andrea, do you want to take over the meeting or would you like me to continue?
You are doing great. You can continue, Judge.
All right, we're on a letter of support for Menominee Police Department's grant application for continued federal CASA grant funding to support Project Hope. Sarah?
Thank you. So similar to our CASAP grants at the county level, the city's CASAP grant that they have directly with the federal government will be ending on September 30th. They are applying for the next round of funding, which would start in October, to really continue the efforts that the city has put towards Project Hope. So that does cover the city's behavioral health officer, some of his activities. It does cover youth mentoring. It does cover some peer support services for not only the youth, but the adults. It does cover the shared electronic case management referral system that both the county and the city use together. So it is a significant multi-year grant that they're looking to really continue all the prongs of Project Hope and continue moving that forward. So they're asking us for a letter of support for their application.
And is that letter support to be signed by the full CJCC Executive Committee or by the president and the vice president, or what is that, Sarah?
Well, it can be open-ended, and Andrea, feel free to jump in. The city was asking a lot of individuals separately for a letter of support. This would be a collective letter of support from the CJCC. So whether I sign that or I write that and have Andrea sign that, whichever method you prefer, they're just looking for a letter of support.
Does anyone have any questions? Is there a motion?
I make a motion for Sarah to draft a letter of support for the grant and either signed by her or the chair of the CJCC.
Does that include support from our full committee?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I can
I'll
second that.
second that. Oh, I'll defer to Paula.
Okay.
All right. So all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any opposed? That motion passes. Educational component, we already had Chris talking. The question that I had, but my microphone didn't work and I don't know what that's about. But the question that I had was, do we need to form a subcommittee? And if we do, how soon do we need to do that regarding the opioid settlement funds?
You want me to take that? Just because I facilitated that committee. Previously, we discussed this before your arrival, Judge, and what we determined, or what was determined, is that I would bring the group back together that was part of the facilitation and recommendations to the board as far as ways to use the funding, and that we would narrow that down. Chris was going to bring us a chart that would explain like the length of the financial and how much we're going to get when, so we have an idea, a little bit better background on that, and that we would then narrow it down and do a budget resolution draft to the Health and Human Services Committee for those items.
So the first step is Chris bringing you something.
Yes, and then we'll get our group together and move from there.
Perfect. Sarah, local challenges, collaborations, and priorities. Is there anything under that?
No, this is just an opportunity for others in the group to talk about anything that's on the radar. So I'll defer to others.
Does anyone have anything they wish to discuss? Moving on to emerging trends and opportunity. I don't think we had anything for that, did we, Sarah? And
No.
then we're at agency reports. I think, Sarah, you're the agency reporter.
I'm the staff reporter. You guys are
Oh,
all
okay.
the agency reporter.
Is there reports from anyone else besides Sarah?
I can just fill you in on a little movement in my agency. Investigator Brennan Porter was promoted to patrol sergeant to fill the vacancy of Josh Christensen, which opened up a full-time investigator spot. Becca has put in to move back to a full-time investigator position out of the BHO position. And so now I've opened up letters of interest to the rest of the staff to find out who's going to fill the BHO position. And Becca won't be transferred out of that position until I have somebody ready to step in so we can continue the grant funding. To my knowledge, I have two other staff members interested right now, Deputy Dylan Christ and Deputy Samantha Kress. Are both have expressed interest. I haven't received their letters of interest yet, so actually meeting with Dylan around noon to chat with him about it, but at least we have some interest in it, and we'll be able to fill that position.
Sounds good. I think both of them would be good in that spot.
Yeah, I
Is there
think
any-
it'd
Go
be
ahead.
good. No, I just, yeah, I think either one of them would do great in that position as well.
Is there any other agency that has an agency report? So Sarah's our staff. She's our staff reporter.
I was going to mention that Human Services has a new clinical therapist starting in the clinic July 1st. Her name is Kayla Langer. This was part of the budget request with the half of year therapist that was approved in the 2024 budget. So starting then. And what we're really focusing her on is working with child protection families, hoping to really focus on moving children back into their homes, reunification, or preventing removal is kind of the focus of that position.
I would just say from my office, we started using evidence.com to share digital media. And so, there's a little bit of a learning curve with some defense attorneys on that, but overall, there's been a little bit of issues, but we're working through them. And I think it's a good and an improved way of sharing media. And so I'm happy to have that. I know this has been kind of an issue for years or ever since I've been a prosecutor, but I have a couple cases where the public defender's office is still trying to find an attorney to appoint or represent someone. It seems to be kind of an ongoing issue and getting difficult to find attorneys, especially when cases are set for trial. to find someone, but I know they're continuing to work on that, but that is, causing a delay and some trials.
It's very frustrating. Anyone else have anything to report? And so now we're on to staff report.
All right, and I included a written staff report in the packet. I'd be happy to address any questions, but I don't have anything further to add at this point.
Did everyone get a chance to read that report? I think Katie and I are nodding our heads, yes. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions regarding that report? I show our next meeting dates are July 24th at 11 a.m. on Teams. I'm not a county employee, and so I haven't been trained on Teams. So I'm going to ask Katie here to train me
Yes, we can work on that.
sometime before now and the 24th of July. And our next quarterly CJCC meeting is August 8th at 4 p.m. And that's a hybrid here in the courthouse. Then are we ready to adjourn? Mr. Biggs, you're always willing to make a motion to adjourn.
Well, I want to let somebody else on the minutes. But I'm so moved.
Is there a second?
I will second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Aye.
Then we're adjourned. We'll see you on July 24th. Again, I am so sorry I was late.
Thank you, everybody, for all your patience, and we got through it. So very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you all
Have
next
a good
time.
day.